The wind on Varixis 9 did not behave like wind on Earth. It did not whisper or rush it. Scraped, 1,000 microscopic shards of crystallized dust skittered across the black plains, dragged by pressure gradients that had no regard for flesh. They carved thin white scars into rock and metal alike, etching the planet into something that looked less like a world and more like a vast, unfinished gravestone under a sky bruised purple and gold by a dying star. A girl lay half buried in the ash. Her blood was not fully red. It shimmered with faint iridescence, where it soaked into the dust, glowing softly like a spilled nebula. She did not know how long she had been there. Pain had blurred time into a single, endless moment. Her body too human to survive Varixis, too alien to be left alone, trembled in cycles as her mixed biology fought against the planet's toxic atmosphere. One lung struggled to draw oxygen meant for humans. The other filtered chemical vapors designed for an alien species that had long since abandoned her. Her name, once, had been Lyra Vane. Now, it was only something she whispered to herself, so she wouldn't forget she was still real. The creatures were coming. She could hear them before she saw them, a low, wet clicking beneath the wind, like bones being crushed together slowly. Shapes moved at the edge of her fading vision, things grown from a planet that never wanted life to be gentle. They hunted by vibration. Every breath she took was a beacon. She tried to stay, but staying still meant suffocating. So she breathed, and the monsters came closer. Lyra's thoughts drifted too, memories that felt like they belonged to someone else. A human woman, holding her as an infant, whispering lullabies through tears. An alien male, her father standing in shadow, forbidden by his own people from claiming the half-breed child he had helped create. A war, a purge, a quiet order signed by a faceless council. Dispose of the hybrid. They hadn't killed her. Outright, they had done something worse. They had dropped her. Here, Varixis 9. A quarantine world 4 failed. Experiments and unwanted species. A planet where nothing kind survived. Her eyelids fluttered. She could feel the ground vibrating now, closer than a sound cut through the wind, not the click of the monsters, not the shriek of the storm. A human distress ping. Lyra's alien ear caught it first. Tight band. Electromagnetic chirp buried beneath static. Her human ear heard only a faint hum, but she knew what it was. Someone else was here. The monsters paused. Predators always hesitated when something new entered their territory. A shadow fell across Lyra's face. Boots crunched in the dust. Ah. Man knelt beside her. He was wrapped in scavenged environmental armor, patched with mismatched alloys and faded human insignia. His helmet visor reflected her in warped fragments, pale human skin, luminous alien veins, eyes too large, too bright. He froze, not in fear, in disbelief. Holy hell. He whispered, "You're alive." Lyra tried to speak. Only a rasp came out. The monsters screeched. The man didn't hesitate again. He scooped her into his arms, her strange light blood smearing his gloves, and ran. They burst into the open hatch of a buried structure just as something massive slammed into the dust where Lyra had been lying. The door sealed. Darkness swallowed them. For a long moment, only Lyra's ragged breathing and the man's heartbeat filled the air. "My name's Elias Carter," he said softly, lowering her onto a metal platform. "And you're not dying today." She wanted to believe him. But Varixis 9 was not a planet that respected promises. The bunker had once been a human research outpost. Now it was a tomb. Lights flickered weakly as Elias dragged Lyra deeper inside, past walls coated in frost and strange organic growths where alien spores had invaded abandoned machinery. The air smelled of rust, old disinfectant, and something faintly sweet decayed processed through technology. He laid her on a medical slab. Her mixed physiology confused the scanner. "Come on," he muttered. "Come on, don't do this to me." The machine finally spat out a stream of half-translated symbols, half human, half something not listed in any database. Lyra's consciousness drifted in and out as Elias worked, injecting stabilizers, patching torn skin, connecting a portable oxygen unit that fed 2 different atmospheric blends into her mismatched lungs. "Who did this to you?" he asked quietly, not expecting an answer. Her eyes opened. "Everyone," she whispered. That was all she remembered saying before darkness took her. When Lyra woke again, the monsters were far away. She was warm, real warmth, not the desperate hallucination of a dying body. Soft lights glowed above her. Elias sat nearby, exhausted, watching her like she might vanish if he blinked. "You've been out for 2 days," he said when her eyes focused. "I thought I'd lost you twice." "Why?" Her voice was thin. "Help?" He hesitated. "I came here looking for ghosts," he admitted. "A colony that vanished 50 years ago. I found a planet that eats hope instead. Then I found you." Lyra turned her head slowly, studying the bunker. Rows of empty cryopods, children's drawings still taped to the walls. A half-finished chess game, frozen in time. "This place," she whispered, "was supposed to be a new beginning," Elias said. "Turns out it was just another ending." Silence stretched between them. Loneliness had a sound here. It echoed as Lyra healed. Elias told her about Earth's slow decay of its ecosystems. The desperate exodus into the stars, the way humanity kept building homes it never managed to keep. She told him about the alien continuum, about how her existence was considered a biological error. They were both relics of mistakes. Days turned into weeks. The monsters outside never stopped, circling. And then Lyra found something in the lower levels of the bunker. A door sealed. With human and alien code behind it waited the truth of why this place had really been built, a laboratory, and inside it, a project labeled Hybrid Dawn. They watched holographic logs of scientists arguing, of alien and human minds trying to design a species that could survive the coming collapse of the galaxy. Lyra wasn't an accident. She was a prototype. A bridge between 2 dying civilizations. "You were meant to be the future," Elias whispered. Lyra felt something inside her fracture. "Then why did they throw me away?" "Because the people who build the future are often too afraid to live in it." The bunker systems began to awaken as Lyra's presence triggered ancient protocols. Machines hummed. Star maps unfolded across the walls. A dormant transmitter aligned itself toward distant constellations. A signal was being prepared. "Lyra," Elias said slowly, realization dawning. "This place, it's waiting for you for what? To decide if humanity and whatever comes after deserves? To keep going." The choice was hers. Activate the signal and call the scattered remnants of both species, or shut it down and let the galaxy fade quietly into extinction. She took Elias's hand. For the first time in her life, she was not alone. "I was left to die among monsters," she said. "But a human saved me." The console glowed. Outside, the storm raged, and somewhere far beyond Veraxis 9, something answered the call. Not with words. With light, the future was no longer empty. It was just waiting to be born.